This is Jeremy Phillips from findingyourchurch.com, and we're looking at what we would consider to be the best WordPress plugin for podcasting and also for people to be able to view your sermons on your website. And so obviously you're going to have a WordPress website if you're going to use this option, but setting up a WordPress site is not really that complicated, especially if all you're going to use it for is a podcast and a blog. It's really easy to set up, and we have a video on our YouTube channel at findingyourchurch.com/YouTube that it's just titled something like how to set up a church blog, how to set up a church website, that kind of thing. It's really a step-by-step video showing you how to get the right web hosting, how to install it in the easy one-click install that's offered by the web hosting, and to put that site up. And so after you have that site up, you can install this plugin that we're talking about and for podcasting and have a true podcast going out to iTunes and Stitcher. iTunes for Apple, Stitcher for Android, and you could put it in others too, but those are kind of the two main ones. But also have a great and excellent looking and functioning player on your website. And so I want to talk just really quickly about some of the different things that you can do. So in another video we talked about how you can embed the player into basically any part of your website. So if you want to put a single message about baptism on the baptism page, you can do that. If you want to put the latest message on the front page of your site so that it always has the most recent message, you can do that, and you can divide them up in all kinds of different ways. But I want to talk just quickly about how you would divide up, your sermons. So you're going to have series and sermons, and then topics and speakers and types of series. And so the first thing you can do is you can create and edit series. So you go in and just simply, it's not hard, it's not challenging. You just go in and create the series. And so you just put in the name, the description of the series, so you're only doing this every 3 to 4, depending on, I know some churches series last forever, but a lot of them 3 or 4 weeks. And you can put in the start date, you can put a graphic, and so one cool thing is it also tells you how wide. It's kind of a hard to read color, but 492 pixels for this one, the series graphic. So you can just go into Photoshop or whatever you like to use to edit your graphics and take your main series graphic and just edit, if you know Photoshop at all, you can make the proportions of it stay the same by constraining the proportions and just change the width to 492 pixels, and then the height evidently doesn't matter. But all of the different archives graphic, series graphic, it tells you the exact width that you need those graphics to be. And so that way, no matter if it's in the archives, the widget or whatever, you can have those just different size. So you just open up Photoshop, make those 3 sizes, upload the image. It's really not that challenging, and so then you can click add a new series, and that's how you would add a new overall series. So another thing that you can do is add in series types. And so series types, I'm sure you could use them however you wanted to, but series types, what I would kind of do with this is, you've got your main series is what they put in as an example, but you could have, youth sermons, you could have, Sunday nights, if you had Sunday nights, which hardly anybody has Sunday nights, but if you had Sunday nights, you could have Wednesday nights, you could have classes, you could have different series types in here that you could assign even other series too. So your main series could have all these series under it, and people could hit that and know that they're not going to get all the youth sermons, for example, or something like that. And so that's kind of what series types would be. And so just like the same thing, you would add a new series type and just add the name and the description. That's kind of more of a simplified one. So another thing that you can do is add in topics. So if you want to put in a lot of different topical references, things that people can search for topically, worship, prayer, whatever you want to put in there, then you can add that in as well. So that's kind of self-explanatory, but just to give you kind of a view of what that is, you would click add a new topic, and you would just put in the topic name. So there's not really a whole lot of description, nothing really to that. So you're adding in the topic, and you're also adding in speakers. And so you can assign speakers so that you're not doing this all at one place. So it's evidently the way it's set up is you can keep all that kind of separated and just go in and add the speakers, add in the series, add in the topics, add in the series types, and so you structure it that way. So it's just a first and last name kind of setup there. So that's pretty much it. You're setting up the series types, and the topics and the speakers, and then of course you can also get the embed code, and it's another thing that you can do with it to embed any of those things. Any of those. So like we talked about at the very beginning, when you have series, you could embed a specific series anywhere on the site. You can embed I guess probably even a topic or a speaker, or any of those divisions you can embed on your site. And then the last thing that you can do is you can generate a podcast with it and shoot it out to iTunes. So you could have even specific podcasts, from what I understand, but especially your overall podcast. You can shoot that to iTunes and Stitcher, and people can subscribe to that in those apps and not have to come back to your website for that content. But if they do come back, this plugin that you can get at findingyourchurch.com/sermon podcast is the one that you want, because it not only does the podcast going out, but it's a great experience for the people who actually come and watch or listen on your site as well. So I would challenge you to go to findingyourchurch.com/sermon podcast and check it out right now.